Yo, what's up, my people? What is up? It's your boy Doc in the house today. J Sims the Lion is indisposed. Got to take care of family business and all of that. And those are the things that come first, and that's most important. So anytime it's going to be something with kids, any family things, or just any personal business, we are going to make allowances for that. Um, 'Cause that's just what we do. That's our job as fathers and husbands and just men in general. That's what we do. Now, I don't have no snappy intro like Jason's the Lion, but next week he'll be back and then he can do all that. But for now, it's just me. And I'm glad y'all can make it. If you're watching a replay, please drop some comments, leave some likes, share it if you like what we're about to talk about, all of that. So let's go ahead and take care of some housekeeping stuff first. First of all, interaction on this video. Now I'm going to drop a link in here in a little while, and if you want to be on screen with me and maybe we can talk a little bit, that link will be available. Otherwise, you can drop a comment in the comment section below the video that you're watching. And guess what? I'll see it, throw it up on the screen. We can talk about it, chop it up, and we can go from there. Second thing, book study every Thursday at 7. We're studying The Way of the Superior Man. We're learning a lot of stuff, man, a lot of things about that book. It's helping. It's helping. It'll help you in your relationships with your significant other. It helps in other parts of your life. And that's what we're about over here, building better men so we can help build better families. Friday nights, we usually do the nerd show so we can talk about all the nerd stuff that we like to hear. Comic books, movies, videos, all that stuff we talk about. On Saturday here with Doc and the Lion, we do a Saturday talk. We talk about some more hard-hitting subjects, things that we need to know about, things we need to discuss and straighten out. And starting this Sunday, I have a mastermind group about setting goals, smart goals, and helping us get to our goals. Because it's New Year's, people do New Year's resolutions. And honestly, by the time February come, 60% of y'all ain't gonna do it. So we want to make sure that people can do that and get to where they need to be. So that's all the housekeeping stuff. Now let's go ahead and get this thing started. What it's going to be, if you look at the hold on, let me type this banner real quick. I didn't do it. So it's going to be called Fatherhood. There is no manual for this. So the thing is, there is no manual for fatherhood. If you look at the thumbnail that was created, it's a scene of three boys that's blindfolded in the dark. And for them to survive, they need someone to help lead them out. And for most boys, that's us. But the thing is that there's no manual on how to do it. And what's funny is that I didn't realize how much my own father was kind of building the plane while he was flying it. Now, to me, he had all the answers. He knew all the stuff. But as I became a father and got older, I realized like when I can remember when my dad was my age and I'm looking at myself and the things I don't know. And I knew that he probably was doing the same thing as no manual. Now, what I did is take some of the things that I've been taught by him and my mother and mixed it with some of my own ideas to try to parent my children or our children, because I'm married too, and there's my wife's children too. But there's no manual for it. So I like to kind of look around in the world and look at some things to see some examples. And there are some things that really elicit some emotions. So what I have is a story that came out a while back, and it was on live, I don't even know if I should show it. I don't know if I should. I had the link to the video in the description, but what I'll do is I'll show you the screen with it on there. All right, here it is. So this is it. And let me, if I can make it a little bigger here. One more. All right. Dad slaps his son for flexing with his guns on Facebook. How do you guys feel about this? Good role model or not? So what he did was, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and play it. I'm gonna go ahead and play it so we can get the true emotion of it. Hopefully they won't take this down for child abuse. But let's see what we got. Let's go. All right, is it playing now? I hit play. All right, can we do that? Oh, goodness. Oh, that's my problem. Can't do that like that. All right, hold on. We're having some technical difficulties here. That's why it's not working. Hold on. There we go. All right, we should be working moment. Okay, now we can go. I didn't connect my my Ethernet cable, so let's go back to it. It'll play now. It'll play now. Come on now. Hey, what's up, Damien? What's happening, man? We are here just trying to get my technology to work for me. With his guns on Facebook. Okay. How do you guys feel about this? What good role model?
There for that. Now, come
see
here.
That?
Come help. Come on, quit playing with me. Come help.
Yeah.
These type of kids gonna get you fucked up. That's what I'm saying. These your friends though. Your friend will get your ass beat. If you ever in your fucking life listen to one of them and raise your hand at me, bitch, I will bury you and bury they dust asses too. Don't fucking play with me, David. This type of shit I'm talking about. These little boys, these little girls gonna get the shit beat out you, boy.
I dropped the link in there if you want to join in.
You better choose your motherfucking friends wisely. Because right now, you bullshit, nigga.
Yeah.
Better tell them your dad is not the nigga to play with. I will bury them fucking bitches. I don't care about killing no fucking kids. You better tell them. Before they kill you or before they hurt you, I'll do it. Tell them folks quit motherfucking playing. This shit ain't no motherfucking joke. Fuck wrong with y'all kids. Don't get mad because y'all dust ass parents don't love y'all like I love mine.
So I'm gonna pause it right there. Let's come on back to the table. So y'all saw that. Y'all saw that. And I don't think that was effective. There's a thing with kids, and that's why I said it's no manual. So I'm not gonna blame him so much because it's not a manual for it. He did what he thought was right, the way that he should have did it. But here's the thing. And if you look at the thing is there. All right. So Damien said that his authority in the house is known. Well, even the baby stopped to watch. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, this is what I think is wrong with this. This is what I think is wrong with this. And from being a teacher and being in there with these kids, you can pick up on little things. And he did all of that. But from the time he slapped that boy in the face, the boy shut down. He heard nothing he said. Not one thing. He shut clean down. So what I say is this, that we have to learn to live life with finesse. Every nail doesn't have to get pounded in with a sledgehammer. And he sledgehammered him to me. You know, it's one of those things where I know with my kids and most people, there's a level of things that are very disrespectful to people, and I would not allow my kids to do it or have it done to them. One of them, if somebody spit in your face, that's something to fight with right there. But the second one is this, and that's slapping somebody in the face. It's like you can't break out the full guns for everything. You can't overpower. It doesn't work. That boy shut down. Everything he said didn't go in. And as a matter of fact, to me, the reason why he recorded it so everybody else can see it. And then what you teaching your kids? What you teaching them? Because guess what? I'm the one that got to deal with kids like that endure that every day. And then I got to bend and mold them in a different way. And that's the craziness. I mean, yeah, he do have the authority. And that's what I mean. Okay. We have, as fathers in the home, the power and influence that we have is great. I even notice it here that even the animals in the house respect the man of the house. We got a little dog, right? And every time I look, that dog is under my foot. Every time I get near, he gets happy and starts jumping toward me and everything else. And I try to figure out why, because I don't even do all that with the dog. You know, I don't be holding him and petting him and doing all that stuff. But I'm the one that feed him. Make sure he get fed and watered. And everybody in the house respect me like that. So what my daughter told me, he said, you know, the dog see you as the alpha in the house. That's why he does that. I'm like, okay, I can get that. So as the alpha in the house, this man, you know what he just showed his son? That he can disrespect them to even when he trying to say he love them through the strong iron fists. And for some kids that may be necessary. But I think, especially with teenage boys, if you do stuff to embarrass them out like that, lesson ain't gonna sink in. I don't think that lesson sink in. I think that was a bit harsh to do on camera. I mean, he slapped him good. We slapped him good, but and also look at this. And I understand his justifiable anger. Right. So Damien said harsh punishment was warranted, but he didn't have to put it on social media. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. When you do stuff in front of people, these teenage boys, they shut clean down. They shut down, and they're not hearing nothing you said. It's like everything stopped. They become empty. So, but this is what I think, though. I think he was angry, and he didn't moderate his anger. Now, was he justifiably angry? Yes. I will give him that. Justifiable anger. Yep. He definitely was. But I think he should have took some time to kind of stop and think about it. Because if we look at what he did, first thing he did, and look how the cycle go. Look how the tactics go. Because he treated him just like an adversary in the street. So if you're stronger than somebody, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to humiliate him to bring him down further. That was a slap in the face. Bam, slap him in the face. The boy checked out. What was the next thing he did? He was jabbing him in the temple. But he wasn't talking to the boy. He was talking to the camera. He was talking to the people in the camera. He wasn't talking to the boy. Now, was he trying to send a message across to the other people that his son was flexing to? But that's kind of what it seemed like. Like, one, I'm harder than him. I can slap him in the face and he ain't gonna do nothing to me. In this. Now, here's my ideas on this. Here's my ideas on this. Now, y'all listen to this. And this is what I noticed. This is exactly what I noticed. And this brings up the bigger conversation about being more aggressive and violent toward kids. Now, there are some kids that need a beating. I'm not even going front. There's some kids that need a beating. They need to have their behind cut. They need to go ahead and get that done up because they just straight up bad. But this is what I've noticed. Kids who get beatings like that. Now, I'm not talking about just for correction, but like that, get slapped in the face, punched in the chest, like those kind of things as a way of teaching them. Yeah, it teaches them. But let me show you what happens though. They don't learn the lesson. They learn that they need to keep you off their back. So to me, this is my opinion, that it stunts emotional growth. It stunts intellectual growth because they're operating out of fear instead of trying to learn. You see the difference? When someone learns, then they're able to think critically. They're able to take advantage of the situations to make things work for them. Because instead of people who operate out of fear, they're in that survival mode and they just do what they have to do to survive. I'm telling you, I see it. I see the difference in kids. You can tell the ones that then got beat down. So, when people say, yeah, it was me and I turned out all right. Yeah. How do you know you turned out all right? How do you know that? How do you know you still not living in survival mode and you passing on that same thing to your kids? Do you know if your kids can think critically and fend for themselves and do things? So what I'm getting to is that you have to be measured and check your own emotions when you deal with these kids. Again, this gentleman, I would have been angry too. Would I have jacked them up? Yep. I would have did all of that. But I think it does more harm than good. So y'all watch this now. Now I have the link to this video in the description. So it's there. So if you want to go back and watch it again to kind of see what's up with it, I have that there. But here is a response. And this is how I found this video, because I saw the response and I definitely resonate with what this man was saying. This is it. Now watch this. So I'm going to switch it to this. And this one it's a longer video, but we're going to break it down into some pieces. And I'm going to play it. It's almost 3 minutes. But we're going to play it. He's going to say something. We'll stop, talk about it, play a little more, stop, talk about it. And we're going to do it like that so we can see. And let me know what you think about what this man is saying. And then after that, we're going to compare and contrast the two approaches. And we'll see which one that you think is better. So let me add this back to the screen. And you see this gentleman right here. Now, I'm not going to lie. I've seen some of his content before, and I don't fully align with all of it because it's kind of, there's some stuff against men that he's saying don't make sense. But this makes sense. This is it. So this was his comment on the first video we watched. And right here, the comment, I'm not saying you're right or wrong, Eddie, but can you make a video stating what you would have done? All right. And this is him saying what he was going to do.
Okay, so I just found out my son was flexing my gun online with his friends, maybe talking shit to the ops. I don't know, but I do know that he was flexing my gun online. There is an immediate step that needs to be taken, which is assessing whether my family is in danger. So I need to ask him and have a conversation with him as to whether somebody is going to spin the block because of what you were doing online, or if you were just talking shit with your friends and ain't no threat. If there is a threat, we need to get to safety. If there is not a threat, then we can move on to part 2. In part 2, I need to determine how deep my son is in this stuff. Is my
On the pause. Oh, hold on.
son a good kid that's just being influenced by these outside peers, or is my son the ringleader or somebody who's being indoctrinated by the streets and enjoying it? One of them means that we need to control the outside environment so he can go back to being good. The other one means that we need to figure out what's going on internally with my son that's making him gravitate towards that life.
All right, let's pause right there. Let's pause right there. Is my son the ringleader? Is he the one that's doing this? How deep is he in this game? That's the big problem that I see a lot of times, is that a lot of our parents, I don't think this microphone's hitting right. All right. A lot of parents out there don't know their children. And the advice I always tell parents is that you need to talk to your kids. And when I say talk to them, not just about serious stuff all the time, but maybe some of their interests, have conversations with them or start conversations with them. Ask them serious questions. What do you think about this? Why do you do this? Why do you think that person did that? It's called inferencing. They need to be able to look at something and develop an opinion about it. And a lot of kids don't know how to do that. But we are the first teachers of kids. We teach them to do that. You know, with my kids, with our kids, my wife and myself, we would, when they was in, you know, in booster seats in a car, and we would ride by, and you see a car broken down on the side of the road, and I would say, hey, why do you think that happened? What do you think is happening? And then they would kind of make up stuff and tell me. And as they got older, the topics became more serious. They're able to think through these things, through that conversation back and forth. So with this, he is asking his son pointed questions to discover if he is the ringleader, the one that's getting it going, because a lot of parents don't even know, or the one that's just following, and what's making them gravitate toward that. I like that part. What is attractive about that? So talking to them to see. Now, I don't know if the gentleman in the last video talked to him about stuff like this, but what I do know is he opened up his hand and proceeded to make contact with his face on camera. And is that going to create fear? Yes. He's going to get compliance through fear? Okay. What's going to happen when the boy leave the house? You know what I'm saying? So that could happen. But finding out what his positioning is. So let's look at the next part.
A caveat to part 2, your child might not tell you the truth at all, but you should have a working understanding of your child enough to know when they might not be telling you the truth at this point.
There he is. That was it right there. You have to have a working understanding of the child to know that. So here's the thing to this, because this is what people are going to say. You know, they're going to say something like, okay, I'm a single parent, so I'm not home. I don't know what they're doing. That's one. And okay, that happens. As a matter of fact, it's abundantly clear in our community, African Americans, over 70% of all families are single parent homes. And I do understand with inflation and things becoming more serious, people have to work. I get it. I absolutely get it. But you still have to talk to your kids. He said, have a basic understanding. Now, it's people that say, I know my kid. I know what my kid going to do. I know who my kid is. But in a lot of cases, they don't. So you got to know your kids. You got to know them. All right, let's move forward. I like this next part.
3, there are actionable steps that need to be taken to protect my son from himself. because either he's being too deeply influenced by other peers to make his own decisions, he doesn't know the right decisions to make, or he making these decisions on purpose. So either way, in either of those situations, I need to protect him from himself. So my job is going to...
Oh, let's pause right there. Protecting him from himself. Y'all heard that? So either you got to see that boy was being influenced by those decisions, or his mind was too weak and he was a follower. And if you're just tuning in, we're talking about, there was a video about a guy who was correcting his son for flexing with his gun on Facebook Live. And he slapped the boy in the face, hands in his temple. He was hard on him. I think he was talking to the camera, but this is another type of response. But yeah, figuring out if your kid is a follower or a leader. We like to believe our kids are leaders, but are they really that? You got to find out. All right, let's jump on back to it, and then we're going to talk a little more.
To isolate him from his peers. These people who may be influencing you, they are no longer going to influence you right now. My other objective would be to disconnect him from social media. So this thing that was bringing him attention, if he was looking for it, if he was doing this on purpose, you don't have access to that anymore. The next part is you're going to lose access to being able to communicate with the outside world until I can figure out and determine what's going on in your life and how you got to this point. Step 4 is for my son to have...
All right, let's pause right there. Isolate and disconnect. Isolate and disconnect. Y'all would not believe the role that social media plays in the schools with children. And before we say, well, let me lay this out first. First of all, these social media platforms are geared toward adults. They say you have to be 18 to even sign up for an account, except for TikTok. That's a new thing that was made for kids, and that's with the attention span and flicking through and all that. But we could talk about that later. But you got to disconnect them from that. And these kids, you know how we use text messages and we can use the text messaging app on our phone and text one another. They don't do it like that. They use Instagram to text one another. That's how they call each other through that. So it's their whole communication thing is that. Now I'm gonna say, go ahead, go into your child's stuff and check their stuff. Take a look at it. But this gentleman here is going to take all that away. The only time he's going to have to communicate with other kids is at school. So all these other influences and stuff happening, it ain't going down. And unfortunately, the influences they getting, oh man, y'all listen to this. Listen to this right here. It's coming from us. It's coming from us. It's at most times it's not the peers. It's coming from you. And this is how I know. So the other day, right, we was in the classroom. Got a new teacher, and the teacher was trying to learn the kids. So they had a little paper to fill out. And it was like favorite food, stuff like that. And this one said favorite movie. Listen to what this boy said. The boy is 13. What's your favorite movie? Friday. What's your favorite movie? Poetic Justice. Why in the world are these kids watching that? Why? And of course, if it's his favorite movie, he keep watching it over and over and over. Guess who introduced it to him and kept it going? Us. We did that. Now, did I not introduce my kids to stuff like that? Yeah, I did. I watched it with them and we talked about it. So they'll know. So the conversation has to follow. It was a teaching tool. The parents are the number one teachers of the child. And what is sad is that a lot of us parents don't even know that we are teachers. What we're doing is say, okay, I'm going to feed you. Make sure we got electricity in your wash and got clothes on your back. But the job just start there. It starts there. There's more. But that's what this gentleman talking about. So we're going to disconnect them from the social media. Whatever is feeding in is getting cut off immediately. For example, there are some stuff in there about, well, not in this video, but it's even in the Bible. It's talking about protecting your gates. I did a whole sermon about that before, about the eye gate, what you watch, the ear gate, what stuff you hear, the mouth gate, what come out. So there are things we have to protect. And that's one of them. So he's going to disconnect them. All right, let's see what's next. Let's go.
Have time in with me. My son at this point done got so far away from my ideological way of thinking that he got to spend time with me now.
Oh, let's pause right there. Okay. I like that. The son has got away from my ideological way of thinking. We train our kids. We train them how to think. We train them morals and right from wrong. We do that. And what this gentleman said is that the kid has gotten away from that. He gotten away from his way of thinking. Now, these days, people in society and I don't know, left, right, one of them people, but they'll say that, well, the kid has to decide. The kid is this or that. But here's the truth. Here is the truth. And this is why I don't believe in that. Because if I raise them and you stand with me and I'm responsible for you, you're going to do stuff the way that I train you to do it, not the way that everybody else do it. And it's going to be different. But there's a theory about the adultification of kids. And basically what it is that children are disappearing. Let me explain that a little bit. When I say children are disappearing, it's not that we have less children physically in the world. That's not what the case is. What this theory is saying is that we don't treat kids like kids, so they're disappearing. We treat kids like young adults, like small teacup humans. We treat kids like that. That's why there are no more kids left. So we expect them to come with a full gamut of resources and tools and understanding as an adult. And if you don't believe me, watch this. Go to the store. Go to Target, Walmart, whatever store you want to go to. And go to the kids section and look at the clothes. They are not kids' clothes anymore. They are small adult clothes. That's where it starts. That's where it starts. And let me connect the dots for you. Go and look at Disney. Why do kid programming have adult themes in it? Why does that happen? It ain't the basic stuff when we was growing up. Now they say, oh, the cartoons that we used to watch in the 80s was just commercials for stuff. Okay, maybe it was. But they was mandated to put positive messages in the shows. And it was direct instruction at the end of G.I. Joe. They would say, this is what you do. This is what's happening. This is the right thing to do. They put that on every episode. And I bet y'all still remember it to this day. Remember on G.I. Joe when they showed you how to deal with a down power line? You remember that? Or they showed you how to the swim if you was drowning, or what to do with friends. Yeah. It's there. That's it. But let's get back to what this man was saying. He was saying that now, since this boy has gone off the path, right? He has to pick him up and put him back on the track. So he's treating the kid like a kid. The kid made a mistake. He shouldn't have did it. But he had to get him back on track. So now this is one of the big difference. So the first gentleman, yeah, I bet you're going to stop. He ain't going to do that no more. I ain't going to tell you no lie. Because he can't beat his daddy right now. Eventually, because you know what's going to happen? That boy going to get older. That boy gonna get bigger. And what's gonna happen to dad? He gonna get older. And he gonna get weaker. And it's gonna come a time that boy may be bigger than him. And then you got to rely on fear. You got to rely on fear to raise your children. I mean, you got to use a little bit of that. You got to mix in a little bit of that. But what this man here is saying, this other gentleman, is that he's not only stopping the behavior, but he's resetting him. Out of that, what we saw from the first video, that was just, I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to send a message to them to other people kids, not mine, to other people kids. But is there a resetting? Or here's the worst one. Here is the worst one. What if what the son did is what the dad usually does, and he's following in the steps? We do things and don't realize our kids watching us. We do things because we think it's fun and that we're supposed to do, but get mad at them when they do what we do. Yeah. He said that slap reset him. It did. It did. It did. It definitely reset him. But reset him to what? All right. Let me go ahead and throw this back up. Let's try to round this thing out. We got a couple more points to cover.
Every waking moment that he's not at school or at work, he gonna be with me. And if I have other obligations, then they're gonna be members of the community and friends that I have and peers that are in his life at this point that are going to help me with this. So they're gonna be with me, they're gonna be with him, and we're gonna be doing activities and things to bring him back to an understanding of what he needs to be trying to achieve in his life. The discipline in all these.
That was the part that made me save this video. So he said that he is going to take time out with his son. So this correction is not just for that moment, but the correction lasts for an extended period of time. The re-education and resetting. I think the slap in the face was a quick fix. Bam, okay, I ain't gonna do it no more. Quick fix. What this man is talking about is reprogramming. It's brainwashing them. Because look at this. Look at this. The stuff that made him do that, he had to endure it over an extended period of time to change or to be that way. So what this dad is proposing is that he also sit with him for an extended period of time and other positive people that he trusts, other men and friends. Like I know for a fact, if my son was doing stuff like that, I got a bunch of friends that I can send him over there where they at, and they'll get him right. They'll get him right. And then on top of that, I know that I can send my kids to my friends. I can just tell them what happened. And I guarantee that their approach to correcting him would be the same thing that I would do. Without a shadow of a doubt. The same exact thing. They would follow all the same steps without me even trying. I wouldn't have to tell them. So the thing is this, you got to have a circle of people that you can trust. No man is an island unto himself. But that's the hard thing about it, because we think we are. Like I know I can call Damien right now, hey man, my son doing this, and this. I can send him over there, and you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna spend time with him too. Well, we got to get him straight. We got to reprogram him. For real. So look what he say. Spending time is the key to building respect. Yep. And that's it. That's it. So how can you, I'm glad you said that. Watch this. How can you build respect through disrespect? How can you build it? I don't think you can. Like Martin Luther King Jr. said, he said that darkness can't drive out darkness, only light can do that. Oh boy. That's what he said. So, all right, let's go on. Let's see what else he got to say here. And then we're going to round that out.
Steps is losing his freedom, is losing his connectivity with his peers, is losing his ability to communicate with the social world, is losing his ability to make his own decisions about his whereabouts. It's him having to listen to old heads talk about how he should be on the straight and narrow. It's him doing chores and activities and things in the community because he's been going on a path that's so far from where he need to be that he's going to lose his ability to do what he want to do. Those are the disciplines.
That right there. Yeah, Damien said you can't build where you have no foundation. Yep. And what this gentleman is talking about is rebuilding that foundation. Now, the big thing here is our idea of discipline. Violence is not always the answer. Now, in this case, I mean, yeah, you can whip them. You can do all that. It's not going to last, though. Or you're going to put their mind in survival mode. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm going to get into that after I say this. And people think that you are weak if you go through this process that this man is talking about. If you just didn't beat them down right then. But think about what hurts worse. It's going to get to a point to where you beat these kids so much and it don't do nothing to them. Nothing at all. And I'm going to tell you why that is. So I did a sermon one time talking about spiritual scarring. And what that is when you do a certain thing, right? Let's say, for instance, you was a kid, and you know how we used to go to the gas station and we used to buy little things in that, and you steal from the gas station one time. I don't know, you get a pack of lemon heads and you stick them in your pocket right quick and walk out the gas station. The first time you did it, it was probably scary. And you had this nervous feeling. So what happens when you go back and do it again? What happens when you go back and do it again? Well, this is what happens. You do it again, and it's going to get a little bit easier. And the next time you do it, it's going to get a little bit easier. And then it doesn't affect you anymore after you do it 3 or 4 times. Well, beating these kids down is the same thing. The first time you get slapped in the face, well, it's going to hurt your feelings. And you get slapped again. And it's going to hurt less. And by the 3rd or 4th time, you expect it to come. So you just go ahead and steel yourself up, take it, and then you go on about your business. That ain't it. Now you say, wow, bro, in today's society, it's the alpha, they respond and respect. You know, that's true. That is true. But what kind of alpha you want to be? That's the whole point. That's about this thing why I say there's no manual for this. We get to choose what kind of alpha we want to be. You get to choose that. Now, but hold on. Let's dive into that statement a little more. So the alpha is who they respond to and respect. Of course, we get to dictate who an alpha is. And what kind of man you want to be. Now, in the house, it's one thing, but out in the world, it'd be something different. I was just talking to my wife about this the other day about dealing with teenage boys and the way that I deal with them to get them to do what I need for them to do and get them to start thinking and to being better. And most times that strong hand for people who not your own kids don't really work. Because if you come out the gate with the strong hand, they're going to fight back. It's fight or flight. Fight or flight. And the first thing they're going to do is fight. They're going to fight back. I'm telling you. They're going to buck. And then you're going to get in a situation, but you can't put your hands on them because they ain't your kids. I think that's what kind of shaped how I deal with children. You know? Yep, Jamel say true. Yeah. So I have to do it. You got to do it a different way. I think I develop a set of skills for this. But in this instance, you know, I want to talk about the discipline and the alpha thing. Why is it that most times we think that discipline is giving beatings, punching in the chest, and slapping in the face like the first gentleman did? Yeah, the boy was flexing with a gun. He was flexing with, and that dad was mad. He was hot. So hard he slapped him in the face and he mushed him in his temple. But did you saw how he was? Go back and watch the video. Go back and watch the video. The link is in the description down below. But when he was doing that, did you notice what he did with his hands? He was putting the gun to his head. He said James Evans versus Carl Winslow. You know what? Even then, yeah, those two were the same, but they did it in different ways. And James did explain some stuff. You know, I'm gonna go back to this. All right, I'm gonna go back, and I want to show y'all what I was talking about. Look at this.
This type of shit.
Watch what he do.
About. These little boys, these little girls gonna get the shit beat out you, boy. Play with me if you want to. You better choose your motherfucking friends wisely. Because right now,
right there, you see it? You see it? He got the gun to his head. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I would have been hot too. But I think like my kids, they more afraid of the lecture that come with it. They're more afraid of the lecture because they know they're about to get it, and it's gonna last for a couple of days. Jamel said because sometimes it is depending on the situation. Yep. And I mean it do. But again, and that's why I say this is no manual for this. But what the first father did to me, it is going to stop the behavior immediately. And this is what it's going to lead to. Because when he leave and go back to school, everybody that saw it, they're going to clown him forever. That's never going away. Ever. You just made your son's life a living hell right then. And they saw it. He is totally rejected by everybody. Totally. All right. So Jamel said, well, here's the problem. His leadership lead his son to do that. Oh, see, I said that earlier. Not everything they pick up from social media, movies, and video games. Like I'm a big video game dude, and they think violence comes from video games. All this stuff comes from video games. But ain't nobody never look at the fact that a lot of parents don't talk to their kids. Or when they do something wrong, they don't tell them how to do it right or why it's wrong. They just say don't do it. That's why kids don't have critical thinking skills. All right. He said, now what he did compromised the safety of the home. Yes, he talked about the first dude talked about that in the beginning. He said that's the first thing he gonna do is see if the family in danger. But yeah, and he got to find out if he dealing with some folks like that, because people will roll up on your house. And look at this. Yep, baby in the house and the gun not locked up. How did the boy get the gun? Mm-hmm. Yep. Parents build a foundation. Life adds the rest. Yep. And that's bad. See, we all think the same. That's what I said earlier. You know, it's up to us to build that foundation. Damien said something about that earlier. We got to lay that down. We got to lay the foundation down. And they got to have a set of morals and standards that they revert back to when they are faced with this adversity. They got to have that. But like I said earlier, most times these people don't realize that what they're doing is creating the monster they're trying to fight against. They don't realize that they are part of the problem too. And we got to address that. But I like what he said here about what the discipline is, because discipline is not always whipping they behind, slapping the face, punching the chest. Discipline is other stuff. He locked this boy down. This gentleman here said he gonna be locked down every waking moment. He not with somebody else. He gonna be with me. And if I can't be with him right then, he gonna be with my homeboy or my cousin. Somebody else. That's where he gonna be. And you got to listen to the old heads. Stay on your neck about what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to handle yourself. You got to get a circle of like-minded people. That's what he gonna do. And he cut off everything else. Guess what? You watching what I watch on TV. If you watching TV. Oh, I'm reading books. You reading books too. Matter of fact, we're gonna read the same book and talk about it. So this discipline gonna last for months. And it's gonna put him back on track. It is.
Where a son being hit in the mouth fits into that. What it does and what it accomplishes to what you're seeking for the solution to be, let me know. Because for me, those logical steps of what to do don't include hitting your child in the mouth.
So look what he say. Things I would not do. Threaten to unalive my son. Yep, he said that. Say threaten to unalive other children. He did that on camera too. He said that. Put this family situation on social media. Yeah, that's a separate conversation about social media because we want attention and we're going to show the world that we do whatever and hit my child in the face. Because to me, I agree, because I said earlier, there are like two big things that I teach my children or our children, because it's my wife too. I got to give her props. That between right and wrong and that respects other people. One is spitting in somebody's face. You spit in somebody's face, that's like the utmost thing. I tell them not to do it. And if somebody do it to them, it's time to go ahead and straighten that. That's like you then went nuclear and slapping somebody in the face. It's like those things that you save for your worst enemy to really get the point across. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to develop this toolbox, right? So when I was training teachers, when I used to train teachers, I would tell them this. I'm not telling you not to do some of the stuff you was doing. But what I am telling you is to get a toolbox and put more tools in it. You're the one that use a screwdriver to do everything with. Whereas I'm giving you a screwdriver, I'm giving you a pry bar, and so pick the right tool for the job. But I think people lack finesse, and we got to build that stuff up. And they think violence and all is the way to go, like off rip. But the big thing from the first gentleman, though, and I think we talk about this in the Way of the Superior Man book study, and we talked about this in 48 Laws of Power about controlling our emotions. And I think he just found out about it just then, and he just went off emotion. That's why he did what he did. We got to control that too. Because everything we do with these kids is a teachable moment. Everything. You teaching them all the time. Even how you deal with situations, because they watching you. But now I've been in the lucky spot to have to deal with kids a lot. And I know they watch it because they tell me. I wanted to see what you was going to do when they did that. Why you didn't do this way? Do it all the time. So, all right, man. That's going to be about it. Unless one of y'all want to come up and we can talk some more. I got the link in the description if you want to come on up and talk. And if not, I'm going to try to shut it down. So, all right, tomorrow at 6:00, I'm going to be back on again. I'm not going to I'm going to put the link in the group and put the link out, but it's not going to be televised. We're going to talk about goal setting, come up with our goals, and start the basis of our mastermind group. So, and what the group is designed to do is to help you come up with smart goals, things you want to achieve. And it's going to hold you accountable for it and help solicit ideas to make you more successful. I put a Bible scripture in our group. Iron sharpens iron, as a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. That's the guiding principle of this group. And that's what we're going to do in that iron sharpen each other. So whatever you want your goal to be, I don't care what it is. Most mastermind groups try to group people together of like things to try to get the most out of it. But I think we're going to mix the group up with a lot of different people. Like one of mine is going to be to write a book this year. I've written like pieces of books here and there, but it's going to be to write a book this year. And y'all are going to help me with that process, hold me accountable for it. I may even do lives where I'm writing it and y'all can read it as I do it. But I'm going to do it this year. Second thing is to get some more exercise. So I got this Couch to 5K thing I really love. We're going to do that. And I can hold accountable. I'll report back to y'all what's going on with that. Definitely want to do some more stuff, take my wife out on dates and all that stuff. So, hey, we're going to do that too. I can report back to y'all, hey, we went out to dinner this day or we did this thing, just to kind of for success. All right. So that's all I got. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. And I guess I better write me some goals and prepare for tomorrow. But we're going to do it. So to that, all I'm going to say is y'all come back Thursday. Should be Thursday at 7. If I don't have to do some middle school stuff, it might be at 8. Y'all come on in. Do the book study, The Way of the Superior Man. We're wrapping that up. So we're getting ready to choose the next book. We're going to keep this thing going. Next week, no, I got to finish doing the studio first for the nerd show. If you look behind me, we got some stuff going on. Got my Infinity Gauntlets right there and Captain America shield, all kind of nerd stuff in the background. When I finish that, nerd show is coming back. We got some good content next week. Doc and Lion gonna be back with the Saturday talk. And then next Sunday, we're gonna hit it again. The mastermind for goal setting, the mastermind to help you get to where you need to be because you are not by yourself. So anyway, that's all I got. Remember, I love y'all. God love you. And I'm out.